Hello, hello. Why am I massive? Okay. Slight delay. It's just a delay. I promise. Gotta make myself smaller. My mother did not tell me that we were having pest control come over. So, I will try and get things started. But if I go quiet and like disappear, that is because they came downstairs. I don't know if they need to come downstairs, but hello, hello. Oh, welcome in. This is so loud. Feels like I didn't do anything. Still loud. Not as loud, I guess. I didn't realize how loud it was until I started trying to talk over it. Let me... That should work, hopefully. So I don't feel like I'm yelling. Yes, but no, it's been a minute. Our family issues, one after another, is, fun. It's the reason why I do history. But I'm streaming now. I want some magic in my life, but I was also kind of missing Ace Attorney. I was planning on starting that, but again, magic. I found this one on accident. And I am curious. So, I will go ahead and get it started so that we can get somewhere and maybe stopping the music, please. Okay, how many cases are there? 5. Like, I think that's the same as Ace Attorney? Or Ace Attorney was at least 4 or 5, I think. The cold-hearted aristocrat. Just, yeah. That was so loud. In the kingdom of Wyverngard, yes, there was a gulf between what was lawful and what was just. Artificery ran in the houses of the aristocrats. Disease and vermin ran through the homes of the common folk. People suffered and people died, and also the mages of the nobility could keep their plates full and live their lives comfortable. Also, like medieval ages. Nevertheless, they still wanted us to have the illusion of hope. They challenged us to win, leaving out the fact that they were the ones setting the rules. Absolutely. The medieval times. Many just threw up their hands and no one could blame them. You can never lose if you never played. Yes, you can. The game is a pure example. Ja. Bright and loud. Okay. Now. Should I be playing this with a controller? I'm currently playing with my mouse. Also, is there supposed to be no music? No? There is not supposed to be any music. Okay. That is so bright. I was transporting a client in my carriage that evening. My guy, you kind of look like a rat. Is that just me? He's just missing the ears. Like a rat or oh god, what is it called? It's like a rat variant, not a mouse. You just look sketchy. Sketchy is what I'm feeling from you. Is it? I don't think it's just the eyes. Is it the way your mouth looks? Frowning is. Yeah, no, frowning doesn't look that though. I feel like I look more like I'm pouting. I think this is a pout. Okay, so I'm probably not the best example, but it's like sketchy, right? Sketchy. I was transporting a client in my carriage that evening. We were driving to the McCoy Tavern when we heard a disturbance. Wait, why are we going straight into the trial? Wait a minute. Hold on. I get no background. I'm straight into it. Worried that something was amiss, I walked into the establishment to see what the commotion was about. That was when I saw the defendant, lit by the blue glow of the dining room lights. She had stabbed Flintheart, and her sword was shining with magical energy. I didn't think your eyes could get any whiter. Okay.
Objection!
Oh my god, it really is Ace Attorney. Mr. Rudolph, you testified that you saw my client murdering the victim, and you supposedly saw her casting magic while doing so. I look so angry. Yes, I could never forget it. It was burned into my memory. I see. That's funny that you... I'm switching my controller. It might be easier with mouse, but I feel weird. Because it doesn't even give you, for the... buttons. The buttons for keyboard users. Never mind. So it makes me feel weird. I see. It's funny that you say that. How do I continue? What? Oh, there's music. Because your entire testimony was a complete lie. Do I get to know why? Oh, wait, hold on. Occupation, defense attorney, obviously. Age 20. Oh, you are young. How long does it take for someone to become a lawyer? Is this a magical thing? Hold on. Lawyer. How long does it take to pass the bar? Alright, so to get through law school. Jesus Christ, I can't fucking type. I don't know if I wanted to know that. Apparently Kim Kardashian tried to become a lawyer? I think. Google will be lying to me, what the people also ask, but 7 years, including a 4-year undergraduate. Okay, 7 years. When did you start studying, my guy? Are you like a genius? How are you 20? It's your entire... Okay. What? Oh, she's cute. I don't like her eyes, but she's cute. Oh, she's 18. You are barely legal. Oh wait, no. What is the age of an adult in this world? Would you be barely legal, or would you be like? Oh, I don't know. What are you trying to imply, Mr. Cuthbert? Just it really is Ace Attorney magic. She slammed the desk too. Steelwind, think about the state of the crime scene. The witness couldn't have seen anything, much less a homicide. Maybe the rules and institutions were impossible. Maybe I was just a grain of sand trying to stand against an ocean. But I would never stop rising, no matter how many times they tried to drown me. I don't like the analogy, but I appreciate the sentiment. I would do it again and again if it meant that I could give hope to even one person. That was why I thought. Oh, okay, he's a sweet guy. Case 1, the cold-hearted aristocrat. Oh, I gotta click. So, wait, do all of the cases start like that? I don't know if I like seeing the future of my case. Yeah, I don't think I like that. okay. Sweat was so... The sweat was soaking through my oh my god! There are too many S's in this one sentence. Sweat was soaking through my suit. The air of the countryside was choking me. I bumped up with the leather reins, tugging at them tightly. Where this idiot learned how to drive talking horses? Wait a minute. Do we have talking horses, please? Please? I almost were funny like that. You'd never know it, but they were constantly making their objections known. I got many complaints like that through my eye of Horus. Oh. So, all animals talk, but only to me. Is Tyrion a Disney princess? Cuthbert, keep the carriage steady. Elbow. Oh, you're 46. Okay, so barely. So Steelheart with heart work. Steal something was barely legal. Got it. She's cute, but she is a child. We do have mommy though. I will take it. Can we not have the flash of white every time something changes, please? That's not gonna be a constant thing, is it? I hope not. Ruby Taimora, occupation attorney, age 46. My mentor and legal guardian. Oh. Legal guardian? So not your mother. Okay. She raised me after. Oh. Read another sentence further before you go wandering. Mind. Oh my god. She raised me after my mother was killed and taught me everything I know about how I know about being an attorney. Oh, it is, isn't it? Yes, Miss Tamora. My mentor barely looked up her runestone. She was staring at some magical projections, maybe some court files of a case she was working on. I started longer than I should have. I just passed the legal certification exam, which only meant that a runestone of my own was coming my way. Oh, so do they only have the exam then? Like, can they study as much as they want, but they just gotta have to take the exam? Like, I guess that would be the same as the bar, except like a lot of schooling before that with more tests. Can I get more information? Or is this just like a everyone knows but you situation as the player? I just had to prove myself, and this trip was a perfect opportunity. Oh, you are mean. He's mean-mugging us, and we don't even know him. Dissidence was brewing in the countryside, and we were on our way to meet with one of the voices of the revolution. What is happening? Why are we getting involved in a revolution if we are attorneys? Well, I guess attorneys could be in a revolution, but this guy looks like he's willing to bring the fight to them, and I don't know if we can fight. Like, I don't have arcane arts. The thing next to my age said as such. Does Taimora have arcane arts? Would it tell me that? Oh, okay. So it is like Ace Attorney where everything is there. You know, she doesn't have arcane arts either. Hi, can we not be part of the fighting? Oh no, I don't want to be part of the fighting, please. Please, we would get murderized. The village we were driving to was nearly at the edge of the eastern border, far from the capital city and the kingdom's center. Here, we ran the risk of running into the military forces deployed to silence voices like his. Whoever this Flintheart McCoy was, Miss Taimora's business with him must have been worth all this trouble. Miss Taimora, maybe you could switch with me? And what would you learn if I did that? Maybe I was worried about nothing. Critical experience was always a key part of learning whenever she was involved. Oh, so she's like a hands-on teacher. I mean, I guess that is better. It's like, I feel like learning from example and like practical applications, even if it's like just like even if it's like at home or like with only with a class, like practical like simulations of like a courtroom and stuff where you like apply what you've learned, it would be better, at least for me, because I'm more of a like visual learner. Why else would she sit? Would she quietly sit there, immersed in her court files? Did that man just scream out in pain? I grabbed the reins and pulled them with everything I had. The horse slowed to a stop. Oh god, I ran over a child. The child was laying face down in the dirt. A puddle of red was pooling under her. I ran over a child. Scaled Lord. Is that God? I wasn't sure what to do. I wished I'd never procrastinated reading those first aid books. I looked at my mentor. Oh my god. She'd approached the scene quietly and slowly. Her eyes went to the child and to the surrounding forest. She seemed to be searching for something. She was wearing the same expression she used when inspecting a crime scene. Oh no. Why would a kid be out in the middle of nowhere? Miss Timora? I say we keep driving and never speak of this again. You're a lawyer! Nope, that tracks. Never mind. Miss Timora, she's just a child! Oh, the pain. I can see the lights. Where the hell is he? That was his cue. Ooh, what is happening? I caught a puzzling thought through my eye of, oh. I can read people's minds, and apparently see their emotions. Is this cheating? I feel like this is cheating. Late to his cue, a man clad in plate armor leaped out of some nearby bushes and stumbled towards us. He planted his feet firmly on the ground in front of us, puffing out his chest. By the Scaled Lord, look what you've done! The Scaled Lord? I think I can see him. My family, who all died of the plague in 589, they're also there. Her lines were historically accurate. Is that the issue here? Damn it, Alma. I just think that plague was overkill. Okay, so we are being scammed. Ah. This poor child. She's dead because of you. This is a serious crime. The fine is 20 gold pieces. Look at that carriage. They're probably aristocrats visiting House Pierce. He's so happy about that. 20 gold pieces. The average sentence for vehicular manslaughter was 2 years of imprisonment. Oh, vehicular manslaughter. In the Kingdom of Wyverngard, the average sentence for vehicular manslaughter is 2 years of imprisonment. There is no fine. I'll have no choice but to arrest you unless you can pay this fine. Oh, that's what this is. I side-eyed the child, apparently named Alma. I spotted tiny tomato seeds in a pool of blood. You might want to call someone to retrieve Alma's body then. Her eyes opened and her head whipped up to look at me. Wait, how do you... do you not try to... Wait a minute. Hold on. You don't have arcane arts. What is the Eye of Horus then? Is it like a magical tool that... But you're not wearing glasses. I'm confused. Her eyes opened and her head wait. So are you hiding it? Is that why it's not listed? No, but it's my character profile, so I should be able to see it, right? So is it not an arcane? Well, it seems pretty magical to me, though. Her eyes opened and her head whipped up to look at me. We locked eyes for a second before her head fell back to the ground. I looked at my mentor again, but she just leaned her head and gestured towards the two con artists. It appeared that I was being given another learning opportunity. I couldn't complain, though. I didn't appreciate being treated like an easy mark. What the fuck? Chess pieces? No, she looks terrified. She looks guilty as hell. I don't know who you are, Valentina, but you look guilty as hell. You've started an argument. Defeat your opponent by lowering their confidence. Okay, so is that the red? That's not a health bar, but their confidence? Okay. Picking the correct options will do damage to your opponent. However, picking the wrong options will do damage to your confidence. Use context and clues to determine which option to pick. Hi, and please tell me there's... I have no idea. This is new to me. I bought 2 games on impulse, because I have no impulse control. One I've played in my Discord VC. It's a Chinese detective game, and I fell in love with Afu, who is my assistant. I love him dearly. He is mine. I played that one, and then I was really in the mood for not thinking about my problems and magic, and this felt convenient. So I don't know. I'm hoping maybe. Like, that sounds pretty standard, but I feel because there's magic involved, it might not be an arrow. That guy, but your music for the game audio is equal or less. God damn it! No, you're fine. I was fiddling with it earlier, and I wasn't sure how it sounded. Yeah, okay, give me a second. Use colors to determine which option to pick. Why is B? Oh, nope, that's not. Menu. Alright, is that better? I feel like that's too low now. Also, you could never be that guy because, like, that's what helps us. So I feel like I should definitely try. Why does it feel like it got louder again? And that was, I don't want it. Oh no, absolutely. Like, audio is better. Oh, thank God. Like, because I know I should, like, test record to see how everything sounds beforehand, but I am so bad at that I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my dress. So, like, tell me, please. Okay, so that's but you can still hear me pretty well, right? Like, it's not overpowering me anymore? Or should I turn it down a little lower? Okay. I'll leave it then. Just let me know if it does seem to get like a little too, if it would be better for me to turn it down a little more. But how have you been, Shane? Have you been good? Anyways, what will it be? You will be taken to the barracks. Will you pay your fine, or do we need to sort this out at the barracks? During arguments, you'll sometimes be asked to pick one from 3 possible dialogue responses. The correct dialogue will depend on the context of your opponent's claim and their psychological profile. That I don't have. Okay. At a place of it, like... Honestly, this feels like a Phoenix Wright game, just with magic. So, I didn't think about it until you said something. The, like, battle-esque music is a little out of place. Yeah. I need more gum. I actually ran out recently. But yeah, I'm doing okay. I have plans in motion to stop having to stop, like, bending over backwards for my family. So, like, I'm getting things in motion. I don't know how long it will take, but I am working on it. I brought up with my dad about redoing my room because of noise issues, like hiring someone professionally to get it done, and then, like, putting in insulation that we found that is, like, known to be really good at soundproofing. That I will see if when I redone and like extended. I'll see if they can put, I might just redo the whole room anyway. I might see if they can put that into the walls and maybe do the ceiling so that noise isn't coming up from just coming down from the first and only floor. So I can move my desk into my room and then not have to bother with anything. Like get a little dog bed next to my desk. If my dog doesn't want to be on the bed while I stream, it'll be fine. It'll be great. I don't know that movie. I don't know They Live. I don't watch a lot of movies. Certainly, why don't you take us back to your barracks? Okay, I guess we can spare that much gold. I'm not complying. This is obviously just an accident. I'm calling his bluff. Fuck you. I'm no easy pusher. I'm not a pushover in this game. Certainly, why don't you bring us back to your barracks? What? But it is strange that you'd bring us to your barracks instead of the dungeons. You'll also probably want to call your unit to escort us. After all, it'd be dangerous for one knight to transport 2 criminals by himself. He took so much damage. Shut up! Don't think you can talk your way out of this. Pay the fine for your crimes. Are you seriously going to make me take you in? Just pay the damn fine. During arguments, you'll sometimes be asked to present pieces of evidence in response to a claim. Look at your opponent's claim and carefully present the item that contradicts it. I can't promise that I will. The only movies that I seem to watch are anime movies from series that I've already gotten invested in, or Marvel movies. Even then, I haven't really been watching a whole ton of anime that isn't what I've I'm mainly watching I'm rewatching shows because I just kind of zone out and read. So I appreciate the recommendation, but I can't promise that I'll watch it. Movies just aren't my thing. Homework trying to keep. Yeah, I get that. Like, the only Marvel movies that I've really watched are the Venom movies, Spider-Man movies. My dad and I are gonna go see the new one when it comes out. The Captain Marvel movies I watched too. And then I haven't really watched any of the series. My dad watches them, and I kind of pick them up as I go, as he watches them, if I'm in the same room as him when he is. But that's kind of it. Present. Okay, I only have 1.2%, so you. Oh. Expect a crime like this wouldn't involve a fine at all. What? Vehicular manslaughter has an average sentence of 2 years of imprisonment. With the death of a child, though, I could see the Crown pushing for more than that. Who the hell are you? I'm a defense attorney. I could recite every one of the kingdom's laws back to you. Dope, and there went his confidence. The knight looked nervously between Miss Tayamura and me. That's it. His hand shot to the rusty sword hanging to his side. He fumbled with it for a bit before pulling it out and waving it at us. I took a step back. My mentor put herself in front of me. Oh, she was pissed. Dunn was sentenced to be a hero. Oh. Yeah, I started watching that, and then I got caught up, and then I lost interest. It wasn't one that it seems good, and I was enjoying it as I was watching it. I think I'm on episode 8. I think. But it wasn't one of the ones that had me waiting on the edge of my seat, because I was getting kind of bored with it. I do like the lore of it. It seems really fascinating, but I feel like I would need to wait to see if they get another season before I invest more time into caring about it. Come on, give up. I can't move that well in this fake armor. I'll use violence if I have to. Oh god, yeah, then I'm avoiding finishing it then. Do you know if they got a greenlit for a second season or no? Enough talk. Give us the gold and I won't have to hurt either of you. During arguments, your Eye of Horus will show you your opponent's thoughts and emotions after they make a claim. Compare your opponent's thoughts to the claim to pick the correct option. No, you're fine. I can do both. I can multitask. Besides, I don't know when I'm gonna have to pause for the people who are spraying around the house for bugs. So I don't want to get into any sort of like deep critical thinking moment just yet. So I appreciate the interruptions right now. Use when the opponent's thought contradicts the evidence. Use when the opponent's thought contradicts their claim. Use the opponent's emotions. Use when the opponent's... I don't understand that, but, so this one? Let's see, two... Okay, so it is getting a second season then. I'll probably wait until the second season is finished to finish watching it. Just because if something that I'm not invested in, like, fully, ends up on a cliffhanger, I lose all I know I'll lose all motivation to watch the second season. Because I'll either forget or I get frustrated with the fact that I have to wait to get any sort of resolution. And then I would just boycott watching it out of pettiness and spite. I stared at his plate armor. On a closer look, it seemed to be varnished wood, painted to give off a metallic sheen. I reached past his sword and knocked on his breastplate. It let out a hollow thunk instead of a resonant clang. I didn't know the kingdom was coming back. Will this even protect you in a fight? Are you threatening me? With litigation, perhaps. I have a sword. You won't use it. Look, let's just get to the charade. It's not happening. I win. Argument 1. I feel like I'd have won no matter what I chose. Alma rose from the dead and began wiping the rotten, crushed tomatoes off her shirt. Sorry, I thought that stuff about the plague would help. I'm tired of eating porridge. Rumor to start. Ooh, okay. I get it with the... worthwhile to get through it. It's... Oh, absolutely! I love the lore behind, like, heroes. Because they're not really heroes. They're treated with such like, they have no rights. I love the idea of twisting the word hero. Because every time we think of hero, we think of... I'm gonna go another anime. My Hero Academia, where the heroes were literally the good guys. And, like, they were respected and loved and cherished and believed. But then sentenced to be a hero is because that's what got me with the to start watching it, because of how the title was worded. But, like, in sense to be a hero, it's a punishment to be a hero, and you could eventually lose your absolute goddamn mind if you die too often because they keep bringing you back. It seemed like such a good concept, but again, I got kind of bored. Ooh, I don't remember the fairies. I remember the gods, or goddesses, who honestly seem powerful, but from what I remember seeing, at least of the goddess that is traveling around with him, is kind of overhyped. Don't worry about it. It's still morning. Someone else will come by. The row's been empty for days. What if they're the only ones? Oh, okay. I knew that there were monsters. I didn't remember what they were called. Again, I stopped watching on episode 8, and clearly it's finished. The Kingdom of Wyverngard, established 613 years ago by the seven high archmages, ruled. Is that an actual dragon, or was it built to look like a dragon? Oh, that's so cool. I think it would terrify me if I were to wake up drowsy and like forgot. But it looks cool. Ruled by King Oliver and the mages of his nobility. They'll often preach that our large kingdom was a land of prosperity and happiness, a nation where its people shared the wealth of succor created by its magic. Hey, if it was an anime that like an anime or a manga that I really enjoyed, I could probably tell you like plot point by plot point. But again, I got bored with Sentenced to be a Hero because it dragged a little bit. Because it kind of kept repeating the same thing, just with like higher stakes and with some character development. So like I got bored. Here, I took out a neatly wrapped sandwich from my satchel and held it out to Alma. What? You'll probably find this more filling than porridge. The man narrowed his eyes, appraising me like the night he'd been in person. Oh, it's okay, so he really does care about her. They're not just like a duo that got together to get food and that's it. He does care. That's cute. Okay. He snatched the wrap sandwich from me, peeling back the bread to inspect its contents. His mouth salivated as he caught a whiff of the sliced deli meat. No poison to be found, apparently. He handed it to Alma, who eagerly began munching down on it. Okay, so are they father and daughter then? I was probably the first person to share any wealth or succor with them in a long time. Just tell me one thing. What gave it away? What do you mean? I spent a while sanding his armor down. I had to go through 3 attempts just to get it perfectly smooth. I even mixed the paint myself. It's got the sheen and everything. How'd you know it was fake? I thought to myself for a while. You clearly went for woad, matter, and weld for your paint. I'm also guessing you used a touch of gall ink for the shadows. They're decent choices if you're trying to paint a shield, but they're useless if you're trying to mimic the complex nooks and edges of plate armor. He just blinked at me. Seriously? Plate doesn't tint that way. A real plate catches the ambient light in cold tones. Your mix was a little too warm. I will take your word for it, 'cause I didn't realize it was fake until I saw the Eye of Horus box. He shook his head wide-eyed. Why do I feel like she's disappointed? Can you not look at me like that, please? Cuthbert, was that stuff about the paint really true? Oh, never mind. Just confused. No, I just read it from his mind. Did you see the look on his face? I can understand why my mom enjoyed fortune-telling so much. She said nothing in response. Her eyes were locked on my satchel, now 1 meal short. I'll be fine. They've probably skipped a lot more meals than I have. In case you've forgotten, they were trying to scam us. If they really wanted to hurt anyone, they'd throw away that fake armor and just use the sword. We should be helping our fellow commoners, right? Isn't that why we practice law? Just don't expect me to share my lunch with you. I spent a good 15 minutes haggling for those sandwiches. Do we even need to haggle? It's a matter of principle. You give anyone an inch and they'll take a mile. I guess. We arrived at Cornhaven, but I smelled the stench before I even spotted the village. The smell of rotting meat and excrement hung in the air. I had to fight the urge for brunch. But I did my best to swallow my disgust. I'd been begging Miss Timora to take me on her outings for years. I couldn't show weakness now. Are you okay? I'm fine. I was just surprised. Did you expect the ruling lord to install modern plumbing in a village like this? I guess I never really thought about it. You'll get used to it once you've traveled more. This is just how things are in the outer regions. It really made me appreciate the clean and sanitary streets of the capital. There, the streets and halls were loaded with artistry. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. We had clean, running water. We had lights that didn't rely on oil and flame. It was as if this village existed in a different time period. I reprimanded myself. I wasn't above this. People here were commoners, just like me. They only lived like this out of a lack of care from the kingdom. Take a left here. The tavern should be at the edge of town. If the reports are right, this should be the place. Is this really a meeting place for dissidents against the crown? Flintheart had done an amazing job of disguising their headquarters as a rundown shack. The tavern's been shut down for a few years. Nowadays, Flintheart McCoy just uses it to host his rallies. Hey, you lot! McCoy Tavern is closed! The dissident leader stormed towards our carriage as we parked. How do you automatically know he's the leader? Oh wait, no, he did say that it was closed, and if it was shut down for years, never mind. I'm dumb. It's fine. Continuing. He had a roughness to him that matched the state of his tavern. He was practically growling at us with every word. He got close to Miss Timora's face, his feet firmly planted on the ground. She was unflinching, of course, standing her ground as he leered at the two of us. I'll take it you're Flintheart, McCoy. What's it to you? Stop with the blinding bright light, please. I don't wear my glasses. Flintheart McCoy, occupation unemployed, age 52. A leader of the revolutionary faction in Cornhaven and owner of the McCoy Tavern. He seems to have an extreme grudge against mages and the nobility, but that sentiment tends to be common nowadays. Sorry for not writing ahead of time, but my messages weren't getting through. I'm Ruby Timora. I've been trying to get in touch with you, Flintheart. What? His eyes narrowed for a bit before widening in recognition of the name. Wait, Ruby Timora? Why didn't you say so? Come on in. His tone flipped to jovial in an instant. Now it was as if he was greeting an old friend. I was surprised people out here even knew who she was. I thought her infamy had only spread through the city. I guess he acknowledged her as an ally. They both had a common enemy, after all. Excuse the mess. We haven't exactly seen a lot of guests. It's fine. My mentor looked around warily as she brushed aside a spider web hanging in front of her. So what brings you here? I doubt someone like you has anything to see out here. Well, one of my clients has been trying to talk to you. We have a proposition that you'll be interested in. I raised my eyebrow at her. This was the first time I'd heard of this client. Is there anywhere we could talk in private? I've got a bunch of empty rooms upstairs. Perfect. Cuthbert, stay here for a moment. Don't you need my help? There's no need for that. How is there no need? The Eye of Horus could extract information she needed from him. Oh, she mad. Oh, she's so mad. Sorry. That is such a fierce glare. I'm terrified. That glare overruled my objection before I could get it out. Without another word, they went up the stairs. I drummed my hands on the rusty table, looking around the tavern. It definitely had a lot of personality, if one counted dust and insects as personality traits. Faint murmurs echoed from the ceiling, slightly stressed. It sounded like the conversation was becoming more frustrated. I brought out a small chessboard from my satchel. Even after a decade, it had served me well. Chess could be played with one person, something that I'd always taken advantage of. I had a match with the Duke of Commerce scheduled in a few months. I wasn't too worried about him, but I might as well take this opportunity. Checkmate. I lost again while playing as white. That was 3 times now. Oh, hello. Statistically, white was more likely to win. So why was it performing better as black? Dude, your hair is so bright, and I am usually not one to talk considering how light my hair is. Why does it seem like your hair is glowing? Was I becoming overconfident as white because I had an advantage? Hello? That very advantage could be affecting my choices and making me play suboptimally. If a personal quirk was making me play like this, then I needed to identify and correct it. Hey! Ah! I nearly toppled out of my seat when she tapped me on the shoulder. She stepped back and flashed me a soft grin. Her body swayed playfully, amused by how flustered I was. Her posture was unguarded. It was as if she'd never felt threatened in her life. She was holding a large exotic sword in her right hand, but I barely even noticed it. Barely even noticed it as you comment on it. Okay. As her warm and bright aura washed over me, it pulled away any tension and unease I might have felt. Thank you. I appreciate it. At least my hair isn't glowing. Like, you know, it kind of hurts to stare at her hair. So it kind of hurts to stare at her. She's cute. Did she just blink? Oh my gosh, she blinked. Dude, did all of them blink? Oh, I'm upset that I didn't notice this before. Oh, that's upsetting. That's cool. Sorry, I was distracted. You know the McCoy Tavern is closed, right? But if you're okay with keeping things off the books, I can prepare a room for you. No, that's fine. I'm just waiting for my mentor to finish speaking with Flintheart. Oh, someone's talking to Dad? Your dad? I'm Flintheart's daughter, Celeste. I'm going to go blind. Celeste McCoy, occupation she's a mercenary? She's so cute, though. Cute but deadly, I guess. Age, she's younger than me. The only daughter of Flinhoyt? Boulet? The only daughter of Flintheart McCoy. She's cheerful and sweet, and also a little intimidating. I'm Tyrion. Nice to meet you. Do you know when they'll be done? I wanted to show him something. The mumbling upstairs was becoming more frustrated. Celeste tilted her head as she looked at the ceiling, but she soon got distracted by my chessboard. Wait, this game is chess, isn't it? Are you playing against someone? Oh, I was playing against myself, actually. Oh. Oh wait, she has magic! She has arcane arts! She has transmutation! Ooh. Wait, but that sounds like it's a distinct, like a class of magic, not an actual magic. I thought I might explain later. Playing alone helps me hone my strategies. Plenty of professionals do it. Hey, don't worry about it. I'm not the type to shame a man for playing with himself. Why did she word it like that? And why is she looking at me like that? Ma'am. Ma'am. She just chuckled as she drank in my reaction. I looked away from her before clearing my throat. Have you ever played it before? I read about it in some books a while ago. Ugh, this room is always so dusty. Inviting herself, she sat down on the chair opposite mine. She brushed off some dust from the table with her sleeve and began setting up her side of the board. Where does the horse go again? Oh, she's gonna get destroyed. Checkmate. I only took 2 moves. How the fuck? How do you checkmate someone in 2 moves? Okay. She'd fallen into a classic trap. I felt a little guilty. My mentor always said that failure was the best teacher. Wait, what? Already? How did you do that? I decided against telling her the name of that mate. She just pout. Okay, she's adorable. She just grumbled under her breath as we moved our pieces back into place. So, what kind of business does your mentor have with my dad? I'm honestly not sure. She doesn't really tell me much. I think it has something to do with his dissidence against the crown. Oh, she did not like that. Sorry, should I not be saying that out loud? It's fine. Oh, why? What are you pondering? She stroked her chin as her hand moved and hesitated over each of her pieces. She hadn't realized that she'd been led into another trap. Here! She moved her knight into a position to attack my queen. She'd blocked my initial assault on her king, but... checkmate. A scholar's mate this time. What? How do you keep doing that? The more you play, the more you'll be able to recognize specific boards. You'll get the hang of it in time. She just glared at the board. I glanced at the ceiling. Miss Timora and Floodheart's argument was only getting worse. It didn't sound like they would be done anytime soon. I figured out what the problem is. Is it that you keep mobilizing your pieces without intention? It's food, Tyrion. I need food. She stood up and stomped towards the kitchen, but not before spinning around back to me. We're not done. Don't you dare leave. She mad. She angry. A few minutes later, she returned carrying a gigantic slab of cooked meat on a small plate. I stared at it for a while, wondering if she was planning to eat all of that in one sitting. She began setting up her side of the board with one hand while holding a fork and knife in the other. She was somehow twirling both utensils in her right hand to switch between them. Dude, that is skillful as all hell. Let me see? Please? That sounds like it'd be cool to watch. She delicately carved a small bit of meat with a knife before spinning it into a fork to bring it to her mouth. She tilted her head at me and swallowed the bite whole. Hey, it's your move. Right. I wanna know. How, I wanna watch! That sounds cool! For someone who had never played before, she was quickly improving with each game. It took me a while before I even noticed, but she was adapting my strategies and trying to use them against me. She caught me unaware a few times. At the rate she was learning, she could easily surpass a nationally ranked noble with enough practice. Checkmate. But I'd been playing this game far longer than she had, and I was ranked far above the average noble. She just narrowed her eyes at me. How are you always one step ahead of me? It's like you're reading my mind. I could, but I never allowed myself to when playing. I'll get you this time. She began placing the pieces back in place when my stomach groaned loudly. Celeste blinked at me, startled for a moment, then she giggled. Excuse me. Have you eaten anything? No. Oh. She looked around for a moment before her eyes went toward a slab of mystery meat. Do you want some of this? We have a lot. No, I couldn't possibly. My stomach reprimanded me with another loud rumble. Against my protest, she spun her knife in her hand and carved a bite of meat. She started to playfully wave the fork in front of my face expectantly. Do you have another fork? Come on, don't be like that. I can't get a read on this lady. Why? What is happening? I wanted to object, but I was too hungry to argue. I just bit down on the fork. That was when I felt quite the jarring texture. Is the hair deceptive? She's eating. It's the innocent look. You can't trust the innocent ones. They're more devious than anyone. The meat was tough and fibrous. I had to consciously chew through the leathery sinew, lest I choke on it. I'd never tasted such a distinct, greasy tang before. I realized that I never actually asked her where this meat came from. How is she eating this so quickly? How is it? Well, it's certainly unique. Yeah, Burmese is kind of weird like that. Oh, okay. As I questioned every decision that led me to this point, Miss Timora and Flintheart came down from upstairs. My mentor's face was stoic as always, but some frustration bled through. Oh, that was never a good sign. Hi, Dad. Oh, hello, sweetie. Flintheart's expression lit up as his daughter rushed over to him. My mentor glanced at the chessboard on the table. She never really took an interest in chess, but she knew that I've been undefeated since I was 10 years old. Don't feel too bad about losing to him. He's nationally ranked. What? You never told me that! I can't even exploit a newbie. If only. Is that what your suit is for? Are you some kind of traveling chess player? No, chess is just a hobby. I'm a defense attorney. I didn't know we had attorneys in Wyvern Guard. They were definitely a dying breed. The competent ones, anyways. Speaking of, we should probably get going. I hate to refuse you after you came all this way. I respect what you're doing, but I won't work with these mages of yours. Mages? Wait, hold on. But she has arcane arts, so wouldn't that make her a mage? But he seems to love his daughter. Wait, what? I'm confused, but okay. Is she hiding the fact that she has magic? Miss Samora had mentioned that before. Was this mystery client a mage? Anyways, it's getting late. If you leave now, you probably won't get to the city until morning. She's right. These parts are crawling with brigands and conmen. You wouldn't want to run into one of them after nightfall. I guess you have a point. The tavern has plenty of empty rooms. Why don't you stay here till morning? It's the best least I can do after you came all this way. Fine. I'm not exactly in a rush to get back on that carriage. Sweetie, could you help me with the... He paused, his eyes focusing on the giant 7 feet on the table. Did you kill another bear? We barely got through the last one. For a moment, I thought that he was going to have an issue with the fact that she had like a giant piece of meat, when it's clearly like they're not earning money like the normal way, so they probably had to skip and save on food money. And I thought he'd get mad at that, but no, it's the fact that she keeps bringing home bear, which apparently he can't eat. They both can't really eat all that often. What are we supposed to do with all this greasy meat? Eat it. That's what it's for. How are you even killing these things? It's not that hard. You just have to keep up with them. For Lord's sake, you're bloody insane. Oh, why did the scaled lord cross me with a rabid wolf instead of a daughter? This rabid wolf is keeping your family fed. Do you know how many commoners in Wyvern Guard are starving? Don't talk to me like I'm the child. What is happening? Should we be watching this? Can we go upstairs to our rooms? Can we just choose any room and like stay out of this conversation, please? The two continued their bickering as they went up the staircase. Oh, never mind. You're going upstairs. I'll stay down here. I'll sleep in one of the chairs. I'll sleep at the table. Shane, honey, no. Rethink. That is a father and his daughter. How do you expect to find a good husband while you're out in the woods wrestling bears? You're just... You're good. Stop fighting with Sissy. Excuse me, men are lining up to court me. I am a goddess. She has a lot of confidence. A goddess of war, more like. Flynn, that is still technically a goddess. You're always coming home covered in blood and dirt. Why are we just sitting in silence? So, your talk with Flintheart didn't go well? Why can't he understand that all of this is bigger than him and his vendetta? I still have one less thing we could use. Why is she so mad? Cuthbert. Celeste skipped back downstairs, pausing on seeing the air between my mentor and me. Oh, we're done with your rooms. We can head upstairs if you want to rest up. Right. Thank you, Celeste. Does she not like me using my eyes? Or whatever it is that I am using? I want to assume eyes since no one's like suspicious of me using it. Silence followed us up the stairs until we arrived at our rooms. Miss Timora's hand gripped the handle of the door, but she never turned it. I'm sorry. I didn't expect our discussion to go for that long. It's fine. I understand. I saw you playing chess with Flintheart's daughter earlier. Was everything okay? What do you mean? You were kind of a sore winner when you play. Only when my opponent's a noble. She caught on quickly. She was ridiculously good for a beginner. Playing against her was nice. Well, I suppose you are at that age. No! That's not what I meant! I never really get to play against other players outside of tournaments. And you only ever want to play shogi against me. Because shogi is clearly superior. It's complete anarchy is what it is. You just bring fallen pieces back to life like some kind of necromancer. It adds depth. Dropping adds a dimension to play that isn't present in chess. We both glared at each other silently, but all of the tension from before had left. After a few moments, we just both burst out laughing. You really have grown up, haven't you? You must have been only 10 when you suddenly showed up at my house. That was a long time ago. She stayed silent for a moment. I know you're just trying to help. Then why won't you let me? Cuthbert, it's not the right time. I'm ready for this, Miss Timora. You are. I know you are. That just made me raise an eyebrow at her. Then what's the issue here? Again, she just stayed silent. Get some rest. You'll need to prepare for the journey tomorrow. I winced at that thought. I'd completely forgotten that I'd have to wrangle those horses again. I opened the door and fell onto the bed inside. Hi, Armor. How are you? It wasn't long before night fell. Between driving that carriage and dealing with those con artists, I was exhausted. I fell asleep, but I felt unease creep into me as the night went on. I felt myself being pulled away, brought elsewhere. Am I getting kidnapped? By a giant eye? A reptile eye, I think. I'm confused. Though that's not the first time in the last hour. In every direction I looked, there was nothing. Only the glass-like floor I was standing on. I saw my reflection in the floor. With each step I took, it rippled and shimmered. I knew that I was dreaming, but something deep inside me insisted that there was something real about this. Found. Hello? Whispers echoed through the realm. I spotted the small, dark silhouette of a person in the distance. She was silently staring at me and murmuring something under her breath. Finally found. She repeated the same phrase, almost like a chant. She looked practically giddy in anticipation of something. Oh, hello? Wait, hold on. What did that say? How do I check? I finally found you, Heavensborn. What the fuck is a Heavensborn? I have so many questions and no answers. I hate this. I woke up to the sound of shouting from downstairs. I clutched at my chest. My heart was racing and I was drenched in sweat. That was just a nightmare. I tried to convince myself of that. I shook my head. Something else was happening downstairs. Those voices sounded like Celeste's and Flintheart's, and they were only getting louder. Please, just let me explain. I don't want to hear it. They definitely weren't bickering about the bear meat this time. I want you out of my house. Get out. Oh, what happened that he kicked out his daughter that he looked like he loved? What is happening? After that, there was only silence, followed by someone storming out of the tavern. The front door of the tavern slammed shut, the entire structure swaying from the floor. How strong is Celeste? I lay there silent. What could they have been arguing about this late at night? It really wasn't any of my business. Hi, Dad. Oh, hello, sweetie. Flintheart's expression lit up as his daughter rushed over to him. Stop with the fucking flashbangs, please. It hurts. Thank you for hydrate, Shane. I was starting to hydrate again. Yeah, I appreciate it. Oh, I swallowed that too quick. The door creaked loudly as I eased it open and stepped out of my room. The hallway was completely dark. Not a single candle was lit. I stepped forward slowly, careful not to trip over anything. Oh, hello. Flintheart was trudging up the stairs when I bumped into him. I couldn't see his face, but judging from how he sounded earlier, I probably didn't want to. Sorry. Right. I forgot you two were... His voice trailed off. Is everything okay? I'm not gonna get an answer, am I? Sorry, I'm just going to... I slipped past Flintheart as I went down the stairs. He barely even noticed. I made my way to the dining room. There weren't any lights in the streets. It was nearly pitch black. Hello? No answer. I looked at the entrance to the tavern. The door was hanging open. The door was hanging open. The wooden frame was cracked. I walked through the village streets, but there weren't any lights on. I regretted not taking a lantern on my way out. I heard a squelch as I accidentally stepped on something that was disgustingly soft. I tried my best to ignore it. Celeste? Celeste, where are you? A groan echoed from one of the nearby shacks. A lantern flickered into life from behind the wooden door. An older man stepped out, squinting against the darkness of the night. You got any idea what time it is? He eyed me up and down, taking notice of how I was dressed. This ain't the city, boy. We like our peace and quiet after sundown. Right. Sorry, I was just looking for Celeste. Who? You live in this village and you don't... Like, I'm pretty sure it's a small village. How do you not know the name of someone in this village? Celeste McCoy. She's Flintheart's daughter. Selena's expression shifted. Irritation turned into complete contempt. Do you know her? That damn... Okay, so people do know that she is a mage then. What do you want with that bastard? What? Those two probably broke up half the town with their yelling. Look, I just want to make sure that she's safe. Ha! You've got nothing to worry about there. Before I could get another word in, he went back into his house in a huff, slamming the door behind him. Okay. So, I get mages aren't exactly popular with the commoners in the kingdom. So, and like, there was like the whole like talk of revolution earlier. I didn't realize it was so bad that they would just hate someone just because they're a mage, even though she's obviously a commoner like the rest of them. Is magic only with the nobility? Like, can a commoner not have it unless they're born like out of wedlock? Like with a noble's like mistress or something? I just took a breath and continued searching. So like, do they make all magic users nobles and like that's how they're all noble? Because, like, I can't imagine that magic was, like, super discriminatory. And, like, the kingdom has only been around for, like, 600 or so years, if I remember correctly. So, like, I can't imagine. Oh, I know, because they said that the kingdom was founded by archmages. So they were probably noble from this. Like, any mages that came with them or, like, traveled there were nobles. Gross. Okay. Oh, you are very pretty. Hello. Still that famous temper, I see. You! Honestly, I never understood how you could stand living in this gloomy shack. Luxo, how dare you use that witchcraft in my home? What I've seen, I'm not the first. Oh, you got so silent? You've been stirring the pot. The Four Pillars don't care for what they've been hearing from your allies. Is that right? I'll be sure to bring that up at the next meeting. For Lord's sake. Have some sense, Philip Flintheart. At this rate, you're going to bring Lucio Steelwind down on all of us. Wait. I thought the Dissidents of the Crown was, like, against mages. Like, all mages. Are you part of the Dissident? Are you also going to join? Is it, like... I love that your occupation is nobleman. Like, you don't do any actual, like, job or work. You're just noble. That is your occupation. That's 38. You don't look 38. You look like you'd be, like, your late 20s. Maybe early 30s, but definitely not late 30s. You are very pretty. Oh, no, absolutely. I know that nobles did work. Like, they have their domains and all that. But currently in this game, hold on, let me get somewhere with this music. At this rate, you may not value your life, but I will not become one of its casualties. So you came all this way to convince me to stop? End this foolishness now, and no harm will come to you or your family. You have my word. Ha! Your word is as good as the dirt you lick off the king's boots. Okay, so he's not part of it? You're a killer. As if I'd ever trust you. If he's a killer, should you really be talking to him like this? I get that's like your personality and all of that, but it's really the best time? Flintheart, please. As someone who once thought of you as a friend, I'm only going to ask you once. Friend? Friend? I'll be dead at the ground if I ever call the likes of you a friend. Oh, he looks so sad. Get out of my house. I don't have time for you. I don't think you'll have much time for anything. Oh! Gah! Where the fuck did the sword come from? Damn it all! You stubborn fool! Why couldn't you have just listened to me? Rudolph. Yes, sir? Oh. By the Scaled Lord! What did you... You killed him? Alert the Inquisition. Tell them that you saw his daughter fleeing the scene. I'm sure their neighbors heard them yelling at each other. Understood, sir. Oh, there we go. Okay, like, I know nobles do work, but considering this kingdom where mages are kind of superior and all of that, and how the lord of this region, isn't keeping on the upkeep for the village, so like probably all of the villages run by nobles are probably going to be like this, from how Ruby talked. Timora. They're not actually doing their job. Because a noble's job is to take care of the people in like their like territories and all that. I know they also have like businesses and the like, but if you're like a ruler of the like of a region, like of land, you should be taking care of those people. I get like it's a corrupt system and all of that from the sounds of it, but like I'm noticing that my model is moving with me. I am so sorry. I'm moving back and forth. Like I'm like spinning slightly in my chair. I realized that my model was following me. I'm so sorry. It's like one of their main jobs, especially for nobles who are in charge of domains with like villages and territories and all that. They should be taking care of the people and make sure that they are living in the best conditions that they can be, so that they can be prosperous and make more money for them. But clearly, they're not doing that. Up on that sword. Simply, I mean, the bottle did explode. Also, I haven't killed anyone. That was the very pretty noble. And I don't run any villages. If I did, I would fear for their safety, because it would just take my ADHD like a minute for it to focus on something else, and I'd completely forget. What am I going to do? Oh! The few hours had already passed, but I finally found her sitting under an old oak tree. She looked just as tired as I was, probably even more so. Her eyes were wet and red, but she quickly wiped them with her sleeve as she stood up to meet me. I've been looking for you. Oh, did we wake you up? I just want to make sure you were okay. It's nothing. We argue like that all the time. Please just go away. I'm fine, see? She tried to squeeze her lips into a smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. You should really head back. It's not safe to be out here this late. What about you? I can take care of myself. I just stood there silently for a moment. I'm sure he just lost his temper. You don't know that. Mind your own business. Sorry. She just looked down and said nothing before exhaling. Maybe you're right. It wouldn't feel right to let you walk back alone anyway. She walked past me, leading me back to the tavern. What? We returned, but found the tavern surrounded by knights clad in plate armor. Several carriages were parked outside, and I could see several lights lit within the tavern. Is that the Arcane Inquisition? Inquisition? They're an order of knights who investigate crimes committed using magic. Celeste and I shared a glance. Without another word, both of us ran towards the tavern, but she quickly outpaced me. What? No. She reached the tavern door, and the color drained from her face. Her hand went to her mouth as she stumbled backwards, her body shuddering. Dad? Her voice quivered. Tears began to stream down her face. There you are! Oh, you are so scary! As Celeste stood there, frozen, a knight stepped between her and the tavern entrance. Celeste McCoy, by the authority of the Wyvern Guard Crown, I'm placing you under arrest. The knight tried to grab her arm, and it was like something flipped. Oh, she looks even scarier than Timora? Why are all the women so scary? She slammed her palm into the knight's chest, his plate armor reverberating as he was launched several feet backwards. 3 other knights rushed forward. They tried to grab her and pin her to the ground. She let out a guttural scream against them, almost sounding like a feral animal. It looked like it was taking all of her strength to keep her pinned down. It was like she was a completely different person. I stood there stunned before shaking myself out of it. What are you doing to her? Let her go! Tyrion! Oh, that's a face. Thank the skilled lord. Miss Timora was safe. I knew I recognized him from somewhere. Stay out of our way or I'll lock you two up right next to her. But we didn't even do anything. And they're so sure it was Celeste. Well, I guess them arguing at night wasn't exactly the best way to secure an alibi. He left in a huff, following after the other nights as they slowly dragged Celeste away. Miss Tamora, what's going on? Why is the Arcane Inquisition here? I'm not sure, but Flintheart is dead. What? Oh, I would like to save. Yes, please. Yes? Yes. Celeste was going to be detained in Rathel, Wyvern Guard's capital city. Why did they go so far? She was apparently the prime suspect in Flintheart's murder. Her case would be pushed to the trial within the day. Supposedly, they discovered traces of magic at the crime scene. That honestly just raised even more questions. Miss Timora and I were determined to get to the bottom of this. The Inquisition, on the other hand, did what they always did. This is ridiculous. She has a right to speak to an attorney. Yeah. Well, we can't let you see her until she's been processed. Stop blinding me! Orem White. Occupation, knight. Age, 64. The fact that you are still a knight? This grumpy and apathetic leader of the Arcane Inquisition. Oh, you are not only a knight, but the head of the Arcane Inquisition. And you are that old? I am honestly very impressed. You look like you need some rest and relaxation, because you are so stressed that it doesn't look like you are eating. But impressive nonetheless. He's had a personal grudge against Miss Timora for as long as I can remember. Orem White was the commander of the Arcane Inquisition. Miss Timora has supposedly run into him many times. He always looked like the textbook definition of someone who was too old for this. Hey, that's what I said. Though, a lot kinder. I didn't usually accompany Miss Timora to our crime scenes. The few times I had, he was always there to run interference. He always looked like he cared more about making trouble for us than actually doing his job. The Inquisition was deep in the nobility's pockets. I'd always assumed that they were paying him to sabotage us. Don't give me that. There's no way you can process her with a trial this close. Yeah? Well, unless you can prove it, I don't need to do anything. He's terrified. He's terrified of this little girl. Oh, what's with all this noise? The commander's face back straightened out, his smirk turning into a wince as the girl walked into the chambers. Whoever she was, she must have been younger than me. Despite that, her voice carried the weight of her authority, something which Orem clearly relented to. Her aura was as cold and rigid as stone. Her disposition was probably equally so. Celeste McCoy has a right to counsel, and I know who you are, Ruby Tamora. She turned to Orem. She was almost half his size, but he was practically flinching at her every word. Well, the girl hasn't been processed yet. She just let out an irritated sigh as she waved him away. Let them through. What? But let them through before I throw you into the cell next to hers. Why are all the women terrifying? Yes, lady. I mean, Miss Steelwind. Wind. It was wind. Steelwind. Steelwind. Stop. I hate it. I hate it here. Arya Steelwind. Occupation, prosecutor. Age 18. A prosecutor from the nobility who hails from House Steelwind, one of the 4 pillar families in Wyvern Guard. Oh my god, she is super important. Ooh, or at least her family is important. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, I'm terrified. She's the daughter of Grand General Lucio Steelwind, leader of Wyvern Guard's military. It's hard to read her motivations, even with the Eye of Horus. Oh, that's even more terrifying. Let me read her mind. She's scary. Hi, Gilded. How are you? She gave me a passing glance as if she were silently appraising me. She walked out of the dungeons without another word. Wait, why is a noble a prosecutor? Especially that young. Could it be because her family has like a military background? I am surprised that nobles will let their daughters have jobs. Because this feels like it's the Middle Ages. Huh. My curiosity has been piqued. Orm grumbled under his breath as he led us to Celeste's cell. Aw, you're cute. I had to wade through a thickening fog of emotions as we descended further into the dungeons. The collective anger and sorrow of the prisoners was choking me. I'd always hated crowds. I could never shut out the storm of thoughts and emotions that came with them. Oh, yeah. I read a lot of books, a lot of books and manga, where if they had like the ability to read minds without like a special condition behind it, where crowds was bad news for them because it gave them like headaches and made them exhausted, like Spy Family with Anya in the first couple of episodes, where I guess not the first, like it really a lot of places where if it's like too crowded, she seems to get like super exhausted and like strained because of like hearing all of the voices. So that makes sense. But I tried my best to keep it together. Celeste was going through a lot more than I was. Oh! Celeste was curled up on the cold floor, arms wrapped around her knees. When she saw us, she scrambled to her feet. What are you doing here? We know what happened to your father. I'm so sorry, Celeste. I still can't believe it. All the emotions except for happy, which makes sense. Thanks. Her response came out hollowly. You're the Inquisition's prime suspect in the murder, and they're planning to push your case to trial. You'll be brought to court in a few hours. What? No one told me anything! My mentor scoffed in disgust. She was all too familiar with this. They were planning to convict you before you even realized you were on trial. Celeste, Miss Timora is the best defense attorney in Wyvern Guard. She can help you. You've been supporting your family from your work as a mercenary. Is that correct? Did she just say mercenary? Celeste's occupation. Celeste is a mercenary by trade. It's a little unexpected, but who am I to judge? From your financial history, it appears that you can afford my services. How would you even know that? That's not important. I would also like to know how she knows that. That seems like very personal information on that you could just easily get a hold of. Who is my mentor and / legal guardian? What matters is that if I'm representing you, your case is as good as won. You don't even know what happened. Then tell me. Celeste hesitated, her shoulders tensing at the memory. I got into an argument with my dad, and I left to clear my head. Tyrion found me a bit after that. I think it was a few hours after I left. When we came back, we saw the guards outside. That's when they arrested me. Celeste, if I'm going to be your attorney, I need to know everything that happened. What? They found your sword inside his body, and there were traces of transmutation magic around the crime scene. There aren't any other registered mages in Cornhaven. I need you to tell me the truth. I just told you everything that happened. What are you... She looked down, confused, before her face tightened into a scowl. You actually think I did it, don't you? You think I was the one who killed him. Wait, Miss Timora. Before I left the tavern to look for her, I ran into Flintheart. He was still alive. And how much time passed between that and when you found her? It was probably about 2 hours, but which means there are 2 hours where she wasn't accounted for. We could work around that, but the prosecution will still... No, I didn't do this. She's telling the truth, Miss Timora. Celeste would never do something like this. Cuthbert, you can't just believe every innocent girl who bats her eyes at you. That is not what this is. Well, did you see that she's innocent? Can you tell me with that with certainty? Celeste was being defensive at the moment, too guarded for me to read anything substantial about the Eye of Horus. I didn't see it, but I know she's innocent. Look, either way, we need to construct a proper alibi so I can... No! How can I work with you if you don't even believe me? How do you even understand the situation you're in? I know exactly what's happening. My dad's dead, and whoever killed him is still out there. Don't be naive. You're a commoner. You're lucky I'm even here. There isn't a single attorney other than me who will defend someone like you. Yeah? Well, what about him? I blinked, confused for a moment, before I realized that she was pointing at me. You're also a defense attorney, right? I am, but he's just a kid, McCoy. He's never even defended the case before. I don't care. At least he doesn't think I'm a murderer. Celeste, hold on. So you can take your attitude and leave. I don't need your help. Fine, have it your way. But when you're staring down the gallows and begging me to appeal your conviction, I'll be charging you triple my rate. Before I could understand what was happening, what was going on, Miss Timora turned away and stormed out. As she reached the door, she looked back at me expectantly. I froze. I knew I wasn't in any position to handle a case like this. That said, I also knew I couldn't leave her to face this alone. My mentor let out a quiet sigh before quietly exiting the dungeons. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you in the middle of that. I can go talk to her. I'm sure she'll come back and take her case. No, I meant what I said. I don't want her help. Celeste, this is serious. Your conviction might as well be a foregone conclusion to the courts. Without Miss Timora, it'll be fine. I know I just pulled you into this without asking. If you want to walk away, I understand. I'll figure something out. She tugged a few times at the cell door separating us. I could have sworn I saw the metal bars bending. I exhaled slowly. I knew I wasn't ready for this. I can't stand by and do nothing. I'll take your case, if you'll have me. Really? But there's one thing I need you to tell me. The Arcane Inquisition was called up to the scene. I had no idea how they even knew magic had been used, or their presence could only mean one thing. Are you a mage? Yeah, I am. When that villager confronted me before, he called her a bastard. It made a lot more sense now. Do you have noble blood? What does that have to do with anything? The ability to use magic is hereditary. Almost every mage descends from the nobility in some way. Okay, so that answers one of my questions. If you have birth parents in the nobility, we might be able to use their influence to our advantage. I don't need anyone else's help. I am McCoy. That's all I need to know about myself. It seems best not to push that matter further then. Even so, that's probably why they arrested you. What? Miss Timora mentioned it earlier. A town of farmers like Cornhaven wouldn't have any other registered mages. It's a good thing that you registered with the kingdom. It would have just added one extra charge if you hadn't. But if they found traces of magic at the scene of the crime, they have no choice but to suspect you. Are you serious? I'll be honest. I'm not sure how much help I'll really need. Miss Timora said it herself. I've never defended a client before. Is everything really going to be okay? Why would I say something like that? A defense attorney should be putting their clients at ease. But no matter what, I'll get you an acquittal. It doesn't matter who stands in my way. Man, king, or God. What? Sorry. I used to say that a lot as a kid. No, it's okay. At least it made her laugh. Anyways, take some time to rest up. The trial will begin in a few hours. I couldn't imagine what she was going through. She not only lost her father, but she was also being framed for his murder. But this was exactly why I became an attorney, to defend people exactly like her. Stories like hers were far too common, but this time I had the power to change it. She was putting her trust in me. I would make sure she wouldn't regret that. What are the things he is getting? I mean, it is a murder, so yeah. Okay, hold on. I have to step away real quick. Okay, so I need to blow my nose because it's really getting to spring weather, so allergies. But I also needed to check what was going on with the pest control, and apparently they left, so they didn't need to come down here, which I was kind of surprised by. I think they did it down here last time, but we do look. I don't think we're angry. I feel we're definitely nervous though. It still hadn't sunk in yet. I was standing in a real courtroom. I'd only ever acted as Miss Timora's assistant, and now I was front and center at the defense table. Are you okay? Yes, of course. Maybe if I kept saying that, it would end up being true. Oh, hello. She does not look pleased. That woman from the dungeons was also here. She must have been the prosecutor for Celeste's trial. No wonder she was able to order around the commander like that. I could feel her piercing glare burrowing into me. Oh, why was she looking at me like that? Was she trying to intimidate me? Because it was definitely working. Order! Why is that your voice? It just... I know, it kind of matches. Court is now in session of Celeste McCoy. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is also ready, Your Honor. He's also worried. Very well. Prosecutor Steelman, could you please list the charges? The defendant is Celeste McCoy, a mercenary by trade and a registered mage. She's charged with second-degree murder and negligent misuse of the arcane arts. The crime occurred within the McCoy Tavern, a local inn that was shut down years ago. Those who lived nearby reported hearing a loud argument coming from within the building around 1 a.m. Do they have clocks? At 1:08 a.m., a carriage driver entered the tavern to investigate the disturbance. It was there that he found the victim, the defendant's sword impaled within his body. The Inquisition has provided an autopsy report and documentation for the sword. Autopsy report! Died at 1:12 a.m. after being stabbed from behind with a magical blade. Fatal wound. I am just now noticing her glove? Sleeve? Whatever it is. It's so cute. I want a pair. God, that's so pretty. Anyway. Fatal wound shows heavy traces of transmutation magic. Celeste's sword. The alleged murder weapon. It's an ornately designed sword, but it has no magical properties. What's... I mean, I have lights on my ceiling. I'm confused. What was the defendant's relationship with the victim? I see that they share the same last name. The defendant is the victim's daughter, but not by blood. She was adopted into the family when she was an infant. Her birth parents are currently unknown. I see. What an unfortunate turn of events. To begin, the prosecution would like to call Commander Orm White to the stand. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, I love her design overall. I don't like the color of her eyes because they are the brightest thing on her design that isn't her skin tone. I feel like it just clashes a little bit, but I'm not an artist, so what do I know? It could also be my absolute disdain of the color pink that is telling me that I don't like her eyes. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. Oh, she has a staff. Cane. Cane. It's a cane. Witness, name and occupation. She's giving me Edgeworth vibes. Just no gay tension though. Disappointing. Hey Celeste, are you gonna be sticking around? We might get our gay tension from that. We'll see. Named Orm White. I'm the commander of the Arcane Inquisition. Commander, please testify about the details of the Inquisition's investigation. Yeah. He is not a fan of her, apparently. Witness testimony. We got a call late at night. Someone found a dead body inside... I cannot go that deep. It's not even that deep. Ugh. Inside the McCoy Tavern. When we arrived on the scene, we found Flintheart McCoy dead on the floor. The defendant's sword was still in his chest. We have a bunch of witnesses who heard the victim and the defendant in a loud argument before the body was called in. That argument must have turned ugly because the defendant killed the old man using her magic sword. Wait. This was going to be difficult. The defendant's sword was the murder weapon. It was possible that the murderer used it to frame her. That must have meant that the crime was premeditated. Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. Why am I stalling? Why are you surprised? Mr. Cuthbert? Where was I supposed to start again? I needed to prove that Celeste was innocent, but they found her body and her sword in the body. Tyrion? This is the part where you say something, right? The longer I stood there, the more I noticed everyone staring at me. I could feel the case cracking. Every moment of silence was just another blow to my credibility. I wanted to face Ruby Timora today. not her bumbling sidekick. Your Honor, the defense clearly has nothing to say against the prosecution's overwhelming evidence. Yup. This whole thing is pretty open and shut. No! Wait! I'm so sorry, Tyrion. I didn't do enough to pray. Now she's... Miss Timora, does this mean they're going to execute her? Who the fuck is Frey? No, not again. Was I seriously going to watch that happen again? I am getting so tired of being flashbanged. Can we stop with the bright light, please? Tyrion! Her palm cracked across my face. I stumbled back and almost fell over. She had every right to be angry, but that wasn't what I saw on her face. I'm sorry. Celeste, Stop. Just listen to me. You trained for this, right? You know what to do. I've never done this before. She cursed under her breath. She searched her mind for an answer. Then just treat it like something you have done before. I don't know, you're good at chess, right? So just treat this whole thing like you're playing chess. What? I don't know. Yesterday, you were calm and you were focused. So just channel that feeling. Look at the pieces on the board, or something like that. He made a lot of statements. Every statement that he made, every word that came out of his mouth, they were all just pieces on the board. A match wasn't won from the first move. It came from developing the pieces I had and taking every advantage that presented itself. I apologize, Your Honor. The defense is ready to begin the cross-examination. Seeing as this is your first trial, Mr. Cuthbert, I'll overlook it this one time. She's still not amused. She's very not impressed. There we go. Thank the gods that actually worked. I needed to carefully examine every statement he made, line by line. The key to every cross-examination was identifying which statement contradicted the evidence in my notes. Once I did that, I needed to present the contradicting evidence. Okay, so this part I am familiar with because of Ace Attorney. So I believe I can do this. You've started cross-examining a witness. Oh, she looks so uncomfortable. The key to each cross-examination is to determine which part of the witness's testimony contradicts any of the items in your notes. Use the arrows to carefully examine each statement in the witness's testimony. Identify the contradicting statement and present the item that contradicts it. Okay, I don't... Oh, I can. Never mind. God, the bright fucking light. I do not want to turn my light on. I had to have it on whenever I got the concussion. So I am healed now. I don't want to turn the light on. I prefer my room dark, even if the window is uncovered. That's her Okay, so she is a mercenary. That was the autopsy report with the fatal wound. Yeah, it's why I didn't stream for like almost an entire week, but then following my family issues, it wasn't great. Like all the things I like to do, like for fun, and like to pass the time, is reading, watching anime, and at the time I was trying to get caught up with Criminal Minds and playing video games. But everything I was told not to do was don't look at screens, don't look at bright lights, rest, don't overexert yourself both mentally and physically, which I could do the physical part. I am trying to get back into dancing, but I haven't done that yet because there's a website I'm trying to save up to buy the subscription for. And reading was also something we weren't allowed to do because of how small the words were. Everything I like to do for fun, I wasn't allowed to do for a week. And I apparently wasn't even allowed to sleep because of something that could go wrong. They never told me what. Just stop thinking. I'm an anxious overthinker. I'm always thinking. The alleged, Celeste's sword, the alleged murder weapon. It's an ornately designed sword, but it has no magical properties. Okay. So, like, I don't think I can use people as evidence. We got a call later. I found a dead body in the McCoy Tavern. From the scene, we found Flynn Hart McCoy down on the floor. The defendant's sword was still on his chest. We have a bunch of witnesses who heard the victim and defendant in a loud argument before the body was called in. That argument must have turned ugly because the defendant killed the old man using her magic sword. Oh, okay. That's what I got. That's what I got. Objection! Commander White, are you sure that the victim was killed using the defendant's sword? Yeah, it was pretty obvious from the crime scene. I think I'd have to disagree with you on that. If your testimony is true, the defendant's sword couldn't have been the murder weapon. What are you talking about, kid? The sword was inside his body. That may be, but take another look at the autopsy report. It says that the fatal wound contained traces of transmutation magic. You even testified that the sword was magical. So, what's your point? It's simple. How could a non-magical blade leave traces of magic in the wound? What? She's still unimpressed, so this line of reasoning is probably not the correct one. My client's sword may look unique, but it's entirely non-magical. It couldn't have left those traces of transmutation on the wound. That doesn't make a lick of sense. If the sword didn't kill him, then why was it in the body? There's only one reasonable explanation. The wound was created magically, and someone shoved the sword into the wound afterward. And that girl is a mage. She could have easily whacked that old man using magic. Why would she murder the victim using a spell, only to then stab him with her sword? She would be incriminating herself. Still looking away. Look me in the eyes, old man! If anything, the series of events proves something else. Someone used magic to murder the victim, then pushed my client's sword into the wound to frame her. I love the oh hey, her voice was high-pitched. Don't get ahead of yourself, Mr. Cuthbert. Your Honor, the defense is suggesting that another person used the sword to frame the defendant. But the defendant clearly cast a spell on the sword at the time of the murder. She cast a spell? Commander, testify as to how magic was used during the murder. What? She is just so unimpressed with everything in this case. Alright. I see where you're going with this. How is Arya guilty? She's the prosecutor. The sword itself ain't magical, but spells can still be cast on it. That defendant over there, her spell compendium got a spell called Mage Blade. She must have cast it on her sword before stabbing the old man. That spell is the reason why we found traces of magic on the body. Oh my god. This looks like a D&D spell description. What the fuck? Oh, I love this. It's a lot of reading, but I love this. Mage Blade, School Transmutation, Incantation, Arcane. Arcane! Gesture, none. Duration, while concentrating. Concentration, yes. For the duration of the spell, the edges of this object, usually a blade, become unusually sharp, making it more effective at slashing through tough material. While under the effects of the spell, the object emits a yellow radiant glow, The target object must be no longer than a 5-foot cube. A spell compendium listed every spell that a mage knew how to cast. It was a fundamental piece of evidence that proved which spells a mage could and couldn't use. Celeste, do you have your spell compendium with you? No. My dad was the last person who had it. What? Why would Flintheart have her spell compendium? But he's right. I know how to cast Mage Blade. It's actually the only spell I know. I would like to add that we found traces of transmutation magic on the defendant's sword as well. As I'm sure the court knows, magical traces stay on objects for 48 hours after a spell is cast on them. Celeste's sword. The alleged murder weapon. It was an ornately designed blade, sword, but it has no magical properties. Traces of transmutation magic were detected on it. Those 48 hours really tightened the timeline for cases like this. Because of that, crimes needed to be investigated before all of the magical traces disappeared from the crime scene. It also gave the courts the perfect excuse to push these cases through the system as quickly as possible. Oh, okay. No, wait, hold on. Shane. I think. Oh, wait, Silent! Hi! You were both you and Shane were green, so I didn't realize it was you. Hi! Welcome in. I was so focused. How are you? Both have the same shade of green, and I am so sorry. You're orange on your screen. You're green on mine. Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. The commander's testimony was a lot vaguer this time. He probably wasn't expecting to give a second testimony. Pressing his statements really helped in situations like this. Doing that might reveal new pieces of evidence that I could use against him. Okay. Tried and true press method. I've mastered this. Sometimes the contradicting statement isn't always apparent in a witness's testimony. You can press statements during a cross-examination to gain more information about that specific statement. Pressing can sometimes reveal new statements or evidence you can use. Okay, so just press everything. Are you accusing my client of casting a spell and channeling it through her sword? There are a vast number of spells that operate like that. Spells from the School of Transmutation are almost exclusively channeled through an object. Your client clearly learned a spell that would aid in her work as a mercenary. Speaking of which... The defendant... okay, I already read all this, so... Mage Blade. It's a transmutation spell that sharpens and empowers my sword. Wouldn't it be excessive for the defendant to use a spell like that on the victim? He wasn't wearing any armor or protection at the time of his death. The victim and the defendant were in an intense argument. Perhaps she used the spell in a fit of rage. Perhaps she simply cast it out of habit. What matters is that the sword undeniably has traces of transmutation magic on it. Aw, I appreciate it, Silent. Why would she go through the trouble of doing that? Her sword alone would have been enough to murder a defenseless person. Mages are always looking for an excuse to throw their power around. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Does he not like mages? Isn't that just your own personal bias, Commander? We don't need to understand why the defendant did what she did. The fact of the matter is that traces of magic were found on the body and the sword. Do you have any evidence of the contrary, Mr. Cuthbert? About that. Spells only leave magical traces on the objects they target, and those traces are only detectable for 48 hours. If my client casts Mage Blade, like you said, there shouldn't be any magical traces on the wound. There would only be traces on the sword. We always find random magical traces at crime scenes. We can't always explain each trace we detect. That sounds more like a failure on the Inquisition's part than anything else. Can we really trust that your knights examined the crime scene properly? You don't believe me? Take a look at this picture. I'm guessing the... Are they hexagons? That's what they're... Because hexagons are with 5 sides, right? I haven't taken geometry in a while. If it's not on him, and it's not on the entirety of the screen, so I'm gonna guess that like that area is where the magic traces are? Maybe? Possibly? But it doesn't look like the traces are on the wound, though. On the sword, yes. But not on the wound. Although I guess we can't really see the wound because of the shirt. But, like, that kind of defeats the point, right? Maybe I'm just not seeing it? I could just not be seeing it. I took pictures of dead bodies while studying Miss Timora's past cases, but there was something unnerving about seeing someone I met yesterday. I carefully inspected the photo, taking great care to keep it out of Celeste's view. You can see it here as plain as day. The sword has the highest concentration of transmutation traces. It does? Guys, it all looks the same to me. Please tell me I'm not the only one. But why didn't those traces fully cover the weapon? It does? What? Okay, so I'm not reading this right. How do you read? Did the transmutation spell damage the sword somehow? Hold on, I need to look at this picture without the text. A picture of Flintheart McCoy after he was murdered. It shows the traces of transmutation magic that were on the sword. Why was this picture not brought to my attention, Orm? What would be the point of that? This entire case is open and shut. Oh! I definitely need to look at that picture again. The prosecutor seemed unnerved by something. Oh, I absolutely need to look at this. Hold on. Why the fuck was she? Yeah, no, the transportation, like, unless, hold on, can you see my mouse? You can. Like, unless, like, this part wasn't meant to have the, like, the traces on it. Because obviously they could, like, change it to, like, to fit everything. So, like, unless it wasn't supposed to be there, everywhere on the sword has looked like it got transmuted. But that is not what she was getting angry about. So what am I missing? Yeah, the Magic Phoenix, right? Hey, Talon, how are ya? I'm missing something. This mercenary betrayed. I'm thinking about who am I to judge? Dead at 112. I'm being stabbed from behind with a magical blade. Fatal wound shows heavy traces of transmutation magic. The alleged murder weapon, it's an ornately designed sword, but it has no magical properties. Traces of transmutation magic were detected on it. Oh, maybe? I might know what got to her. But it's kind of, again, like, this picture isn't great. I think I might know, just based off of, like, the edge, like, the tip of this But oh, okay, no, I see it. I don't like how her sword is designed, guys. Oh, with all of the yellow, this makes it really hard. This makes it really hard to tell. I think I can see it. I could very much be wrong though, and I don't know what happens when I get something wrong. So this will be fun. You see it, like the chest. So it would be this, objection, I think. I'm sorry, Commander White, but you've shown us an even more glaring contradiction. Oh yeah? In your testimony, you said that my client stabbed the victim right through the chest. You can see it right there in that picture. So, where's your contradiction? He is so smug. That's exactly the problem, Commander. Your picture undeniably shows my client's sword impaled the victim from the front. But if that's really true, why does the autopsy say that he died from being stabbed in his back? What? Orm, you were supposed to submit everything you had to me. Why did you withhold this photo? There was no point. She's a mage. It could have been anyone else. Murmurs rippled through the gallery. Even the judge shifted uncomfortably in the seat. Our justice system may have been corrupt, but they never get away with such a blatant error. Hey, Kenny, how are you? You're fine, Helen. I'm trying to get my night streams kind of up and going on Fridays, but I have had so many personal issues going on that I haven't been able to stream much, let alone at night on that day, so I am so sorry. Person, yeah, that, I'm pretty sure that was Orem, or someone who was in the Magical Inquisition. Also, I love how the jury is just going. That's how they show their discontent. Order! Moving side to side. Order! Order in the court! Mr. Cuthbert, what is the meaning of this? Your Honor, this photo clearly shows that my client's sword impaling him from the front. Which means there's only one way for the autopsy to be true. The sword would have needed to be inserted into the wound after the victim had died. That's crazy. Then why don't you enlighten me, Commander White? Do you think my client impaled the victim hilt first with her sword? Or do you think she stabbed into the chest, removed it, and then placed her sword in the body to frame herself? Well, that's... No. What happened here is obvious. The real murderers stuck the sword through the victim's wound to implicate my client. But they made a careless mistake and stuck the sword through the opposite side. Yeah, and from what I understand, from what little I've heard, from how, from what they've said, very little, but I think they have said it, was that the Magical Inquisition only comes in when there's a crime committed using magic. Since this is a crime that was used magic, they were called in. You're actually pretty good at this. Objection! It appears I underestimated you, but you've still gotten ahead of yourself. Is that so, Miss Steelman? Let me ask the defense one question, Mr. Cuthbert. If your client didn't kill Flintheart McCoy, then who did? How should I know? If I'm not mistaken, it's the commander's job to figure that out. Oh, I'm well aware of the commander's incompetence, but one fact still stands. There were magical traces on the wound and the sword. Would you like to tell me how many mages live in that small town? I didn't like where she was going with this. Only one. The defendant is the only registered mage who lives in Cornhaven. Right. Cornhaven was a village of farmers. Celeste was the only mage there. The defendant was also established to have been with the victim minutes before his time of death. In addition to that, several witnesses who heard them arguing. You, on the other hand, can only implicate an unknown assailant. I doubt you could even tell me who they are. Again, that's not my job. That is the Inquisition's job. Even so, it's clear that the prosecution can't reliably prove how the victim was murdered. I can't say that the prosecution's evidence is irrefutable, but the evidence still leans heavily against the defense. There are far too many unanswered questions for me to pass a verdict. We will give the Inquisition time to investigate the crime scene and clear these unknowns. I suggest that they conduct their investigation more thoroughly this time. We will resume the trial tomorrow morning. Court is adjourned. Well, we survived. Yay. Hello, Cuthbert. Oh, Miss Tamora. I sensed as she approached me. I'd been so focused on Celeste's case, I hadn't even thought about how I'd left things with my mentor. Skilled Lord. She had probably been in the gallery too. She must have seen how I froze up during the first cross-examination. Your job is to put your client at ease, not the other way around. Sorry. I'm sure she was just snapping you out of it, but everyone saw her become violent with you. That's not exactly helpful if you want to prove she's not a violent murderer. Make no mistake, the prosecution will use that to their advantage. What's wrong with you? He did fine. McCoy, if the Inquisition didn't botch the investigation, Cuthbert would have never been able to buy this much time. In case you've forgotten, he's my defense attorney, not you. I don't get why he has to take notes from you. No, she's right, Celeste. I need to do better. Oh, I can't show you. The only ones who look their age are the 3 that are 20 and below, which is him, her, and her. Well, I guess and him. He does look old. He does look older. But he's 52, and I would have pegged him at least like in his 40s, maybe 30s, depending on like how you went with it. No one looks their age if they're above 20. Save for the guy who's leading the Inquisition. Actually, how are you part of a magical inquisition who tracks down and arrests magic users if you don't have any magic? I'm confused. Yeah, at least they are adults. Some of them barely, but they are adults. Yeah, of course. Thanks for the alert, Kenny. My evidence is usually yeah, but this wasn't really like, I want to say that it was withheld more, that it was just like one thing that was added. Like, everyone knew that there would be pictures. They just didn't bother asking for it. Like, I get why Arya was upset, but it looks like taking pictures is common practice, so why she didn't ask for the picture as well is also kind of on her. Because that picture wouldn't have been brought up if I hadn't pressed. So, like, this is kind of both on the commanders, on the commander, and also on Arya for not making sure that the very obvious thing that was missing, which is our crime, which is a crime scene photo, was there. the park, Skinsy. How are you? How have you been? I mean, most of chat is older than me. At least the age I am presenting to the mortal realm. So, yes, chat is old armor. Are you off, like, off today, or did you call off? I can't ever let myself freeze up like that again. I might not be so lucky next time. Other than that, I'll admit that you did well. You cross-examined the commander adequately, and you handled Steelwind's rebuttals as well as you could have. I remember how Prosecutor Steelwind was glaring at me at the start of the trial. Even thinking about it was enough to make me nauseous. Steelwind. Why did that name sound so familiar? Wait, isn't House Steelwind one of the 4 pillar families? That's right! Lucio Steelwind is the Grand General of Wyvern Guard's military. Hasn't he been caught up in a lot of scandals recently? Scandals? He's been having people killed by the thousands. Right. I remember seeing several articles about him in the Ratholm Gazette. In recent years, groups voicing their grievances against the crown have begun to surface in the countryside. King Oliver would answer their complaints by unleashing Steelwind soldiers on these so-called insurrectionists. More often than not, their peaceful protests turned violent, leading to bloody retaliations from Lucio's forces. And Arya is Lucio Steelwind's only heir. When I saw her name on the docket, I wrote her off as a noble role playing for fun. But she's good. Better than most of the prosecutors I've faced. She's taking this seriously, and with what Flintheart was doing, I can't help but wonder if the prosecutor is acting on her father's behalf. Oh, she's upset. Do you think Prosecutor Steelwind is protecting the real killer? The Inquisition Knights were the first responders to the scene. Didn't that strike you as odd? Right. In a small town like Cornhaven, the village militia would be the first people there. For the Inquisition to respond so quickly, they would have needed to know that magic was used at all. This whole mess feels a little too staged, and with a Steelwind involved, this whole situation reeks of corruption. And I'm sure locking up Flintheart's daughter would send a clear message to his allies. But if that were true, why did she help us in the dungeons? Either way, this works out in our favor. I can't fight the Steelwinds on a battlefield, but I can fight them in the courtroom. On that subject, I've been meaning to give you this. My spell compendium? I grabbed it from the dining room before the Inquisition arrived. They have a bad habit of misplacing pieces of evidence like this. Celeste Spell Compendium. Celeste McCoy's Spell Compendium. It contains the formula for only one spell, Mageblade. So, this is your spell compendium, and it only has one spell, Mageblade. The prosecution will need to prove that Mageblade was used in the murder. It will restrict their plan of attack, which will give you an edge over them. But I still have no idea who actually did this. Celeste, I need to talk to you about what your father was doing. Oh. She glanced at the bailiff. He was looming close, staring daggers at her. I should go. It looks like they can't wait to throw me back into that cell. Well, wait! I still... She turned away and quickly walked off without another word. Miss Timora just shook her head. She's practically begging for a conviction at this rate. Bringing up her late father may have struck a nerve. I would need to be more delicate next time. I could speak with her in the dungeon later. Right now, I want to take a look at the crime scene. With how negligent the Inquisition were, I doubt they found anything. If you're planning to investigate the crime scene, you'll need this. She reached into her coat and pulled out a small blue runestone. I froze for a moment, staring wide-eyed at it. Is that... Attorney's runestone. Oh! A magical runestone that allows you to take pictures of crime scenes and write notes telepathically. Every attorney has one. It's almost like a badge for them. It's an attorney's runestone. I had it commissioned for you after you passed the exam last month. You've had one ready this entire time? Why didn't you give it to me then? Rude! Cuthbert, are you crying? No. I wiped my eyes and delicately stored the runestone in the pocket of my jacket. You embarrassed them today. Don't expect them to be that sloppy again. As much as I hate to admit it, your investigative mind is sharper than mine. If anyone can get through this, it's you. Thank you. She turned to take a seat at the bench near the courtroom entrance. It looked like she would be staying here until the case was over. I tucked Celeste's spell compendium into my jacket. I hadn't slept, and my body was still ached from the carriage ride. I still didn't know whether it was truly up to this, but none of that mattered. Celeste was counting on me, and I wouldn't let anyone get away with killing Flintheart, even if the Steel Winds were involved. I would very much like to save. Yes. The Inquisition set up a teleportation circle at the crime scene. As a defense attorney for this case, I was permitted to use it. With it, I could instantly travel back and forth between the McCoy Tavern and the capital. It was miles better than having to travel by carriage. Oh, it's you. What are you doing here? Commander White stepped in my way as I approached the tavern entrance. This time, I took out my attorney's runestone and presented it to him. I'm the defense attorney in this case. I have every right to look at the crime scene. Oh, he's so mad. Whatever. Just remember, I've got my eye on you. You can take that rock out of my face. He's just showing it to him like, look at me. I got it. It's mine. I did it. Sorry. You begun your investigation into the crime. You'll need to collect clues and evidence by moving to different locations, talking to witnesses, and examining locations of importance. Before I talk to the grumpy old man, I want to look around. It's a portrait of someone. There's some text on it. He looks like Uncle Sam. Adam Evele, politician of the Pedantic. I've heard of this guy. He is some kind of politician from one of the nations south of here. I heard he's pretty much a shoo-in to win whatever election they have going there. An election? Had Flintheart been studying alternate forms of government for his little revolution? Ooh. There was a lamp mounted on the wall. It seemed to be built into the tavern. Is this an artificery machine? I didn't expect to find something this sophisticated in a town like this. Bah. Artificery is just magic with a different name. Actually, these machines draw aether from the surrounding ley lines too. I didn't ask for a science lesson. Anyways, look where artificery got these folks. The energy cell broke, and they haven't had any power for weeks. Just goes to show that nothing can beat good old oil and flame. Why are you part of the magic, the Arcane Inquisition, if you can't stand magic? Broken power cell. The McCoy Inn is outfitted with several lamps powered by artificery. However, the arcane power cell has been broken for weeks and the lamps can't be turned on. Oh, that's white. Okay, so does it change color if after I click on it? Because that's black. It's a painting of a mage. There's some text on it. Somala Dagalian, a legendary practitioner of the arcane arts, who mysteriously disappeared one day. It's rumored that he was developing a formula for a new transmutation spell. Dagalian was reckless in casting the spell, however, and he quickly lost control of it. His body was never found. Many speculate that he didn't die during the accident, but if that were true, where did the spell take him? That was all written underneath it? That's a lot of words, my guy. Sounds like a cautionary tale against using magic. That might have explained why Flintheart kept it in his tavern. There were candles on each of the tables in the dining area, but there were also lamps mounted on the walls. On closer inspection, they appeared to be artificery. Machines— oh, I should have clicked the candles first then. My bad. That could reproduce the effects of light of magic. Why wasn't the Inquisition using those instead? I know why, I just didn't click on it. Okay, so it looks like that's everything I can get that isn't the body or the outline. Shards of a broken bottle were next to the chalk outline. The shard has a label on it. It says Lotus Juice. I've never heard of that brand before. A shattered bottle of Lotus Juice. The shattered remains of a glass bottle. You found it next to Flintheart McCoy's body. The label says the words Lotus Juice. Okay. There's a chalk outline on the ground of the tavern, creating a silhouette of Flintheart's body. The chalk lines match the crime scene photo in my runestone. I noticed the traces of transmutation magic on the ground in the photo. I traced my finger over the areas where they had been detected. The texture was rougher and almost sticky. Did someone use transmutation magic to alter the floor? I feel like it's a little cheatsy that I know how he died. Like, that's what Criminal Minds started doing, is that it shows, like, that's everything. It shows the perpetrator, and they didn't used to do that, and it kind of takes the fun out of it. Commander White, I was wondering if I could ask you some questions. Ha! You seriously think I'm going to help you? She probably sent you here to con me. Oh, what is your history with my mentor? I know who your boss is, and I know what you're up to. I just need information about the crime scene, as is my right. Yeah, sure you do. At first, I thought he was just another corrupt knight, but this felt oddly personal. I wondered if this could all just be a misunderstanding. I might be able to persuade him to cooperate with me. You'll occasionally need to argue against people and persuade them to cooperate with your investigation. Psychological profiles help you in those ensuing arguments. They give you information about your opponent and help you understand which options to pick. You can fill in a person's psychological profile by talking to them or presenting them certain items. Okay. I don't think I can present anything to him that he doesn't already know about. Now, I'm not gonna show that I have her spell book because he might take it. So that's the argument. Can we answer the other things, or is this what needs to be? So what does the Arcane Inquisition do exactly? You trying to pick a fight with me? Duh, my bad. No, I'm genuinely curious. Well, we're called in whenever they find traces of magic at a crime scene. Do crimes like this happen often? Nah, maybe once in a blue moon. Yes, it made sense. Most mages were in the nobility, after all. The ones who made a habit of falling into scandals didn't last very long. You must have an easy job, then. The only reason we exist is to clean up the nobility's messes. Why did you get promoted to be the commander, the leader of the Arcane Knights, if you can't stand magic or the nobles? I get it's a cushy job, but come on, my guy. You got that right. He didn't seem very happy about that. We're basically playing Ace Attorney, but with magic. Like, there's a lot of things that are very similar to Ace Attorney that it's kind of ridiculous, but there's enough differences where it doesn't feel like the same game. So, like, so far I'm having fun. My eyes are starting to hurt because I'm like straining them to read, so I might need to stop soon. But it's fun. You seem to speak negatively about magic. Do you have a personal grudge against mages? It ain't a grudge, it's just common sense. All it takes is one spell. Some rich kid needs to wave their hands and mutter some magical nonsense. Then the next thing you know, someone's dead on the ground. Not to mention, if some bonehead really overuses their magic, they end up snapping and going on a rampage. Are you talking about mage blight? Yup. It's what happens when a mage gets too arrogant, and nobles have that in spades. I don't know if this is going too far, but why would you join the Inquisition if you hate mages so much? Hey! That's what I was just wondering! Considering the fact that my job is to sweep the nobility's crimes under the rug. I didn't mean to insinuate. Nope, you have the right of it. Anytime a noble screws up, I'm told to look the other way. But every once in a while, I'm allowed to put a criminal mage behind bars. We can't go after the nobles, but any other mage is fair game. Or at least, they were before your boss showed up. My boss? Did he have something against Miss Timora about what he was doing? It sounds like he just wants to arrest mages and goes after the commoners because they can't, like, they're not protected as well as, like, the high nobles. I don't think I like him. I have to ask, did something happen between you and Miss Timora? Ha! Miss Timora. You really are her lackey through and through. She's my legal guardian. I owe a lot to her. Oh. That's who you were this whole time. I didn't even know she had a kid. Look, I don't know what she's told you, but she ain't the hero you think she is. This is about the rumors, isn't it? They're just lies spread by the nobility to discredit her. They ain't lies, kid. I've seen it for myself. That woman's a criminal. My hands clenched into a fist before I calmed myself down. This wasn't the time for emotion. She defends mages who don't have the protection of the nobility. She hates the aristocracy just as much as you do. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so those weren't questions that I was going to ask later. They were questions that I needed to build the psychological profile. Okay. I want to get at least to the next trial, but Jesus, my eyes are straining. Is it possible to make the text bigger? I can detect magic? Since when the fuck? Ugh. I can't. That's a little upsetting. Commander White was being hostile towards me. At first, I thought he was just being corrupt or apathetic. Apathetic. Dumbass. But he seemed to have a personal grudge against Miss Timora and me. If I could clear up this misunderstanding, he might help me. Start an argument. Ooh! There's a psychological profile. My Commander White is stubborn and stuck in his ways. He seems to have a grudge against Ruby Timora and will react negatively if you try to defend her. However, he will respect you if you defend yourself against personal attacks. Okay. Do you have an issue with me, Commander White? Don't give me that crap. I've seen who you work for. You think I don't know what you're doing? Ruby Timora is a crooked lawyer. Oh? I'll be dead in the ground before I help you. You have no right to throw base accusation against. Okay, so that will get me in trouble then. Because I know if he reacts negatively to me trying to defend her, then I'll probably take the hit. So that's a no. Regardless of what Miss Timora has done, I'm the one handling this case. My client deserves a fair trial and fair representation. All I'm trying to do is give that to her. Okay. I feel like both could work. So I'm obviously not doing this one. Because I can't defend Timora. I can't defend Ruby in front of him with how much he detests her. That'll only work against me. And I feel like both of these would work. But I'm not a huge fan of deflecting if I don't have to. So, rationalize? My personal biases, hoping that I'm hoping don't get me in trouble. It doesn't matter how you feel about Miss Timora or me. My client deserves a fair trial with fair representation. All I'm trying to do is give that to her, and I can't do that if you withhold information from me. Oh, okay. Thank fuck. I've seen how she defends her clients. Forgery, bribery, blackmail. She'll do whatever it takes to win. You're just another crook. Oh, Jesus. What did she do to him? It doesn't matter what you say. I know you're just like her. Me being her successor has nothing to do with it. You know that helping me is right. Why would I bait him? He doesn't like me. Oh my god. Defend right now is seeming like a all-around bad option. I'm not Ruby Timora. What you think of her isn't relevant here. Regardless of what you've seen of her do, I'm trying to run an honest case. Forgery, bribery, blackmail. Have you ever seen me do any of those things? I've only defended my client by pointing out your mistakes. That sounds like it'd be a bad thing to point out. So... Deflect? I'm not Ruby Timora. Wait, okay, so... Oh, thank fuck. Okay. Look, kid. After what I've seen her pull in court, I'm not going to fall for it. I have no reason to trust you. But you also have no reason to trust the nobility. So, like, why are you in this position if you can't do either? No matter what, I know you're a good lawyer raised by the biggest crook of them all. I need to prove this she's a crook. Definitely not pushing that one. So is defense ever a good option? Well, so far, I am thinking it's not. I'm just a defense attorney who's asking you for information about the case. The thing that I've done has given you any reason to suspect me. The only thing that she taught me was how to practice law. Have you ever seen me engage in any... He's just now meeting me, so he wouldn't know. So deflect again? I'm just a defense... Okay, so that... Okay, okay. We're good. He spent some time searching for a rebuttal, but after a while, he just let out a resigned sigh. You would just want info on the case, right? Yes, that's all I'm asking for. Alright, fine. I'll answer your questions. But you better not make me regret this. I won! Yay! I successfully persuaded Orem White. And I think I'm going to save here. And call it a night. Or call it a day. Because this text is actually kind of too small for me to play this in a continued way. Which I am so upset about because I don't work tonight, so I could have gone longer. And this game is actually really fun. I forgot how much I miss the Ace Attorney, and this is very much like Ace Attorney. But again, with magic. And apparently I can use the magic, so that's a plus. Where's my mouse? There it is. I'm gonna go silent real quick. I have no crimes. Aside from having a low confidence, self-esteem, and self-worth. But thank you all for joining me. You haven't seen it. You're just gaslighting again. Thank you all for joining me. This was a lot of fun. I wish I could go longer, but God, the text is so small. Is there any... It also doesn't help that they keep flashing you with bright fucking lights. Like, every time there's a transition, which is also fucking with my eyes. So I might have to play this game with my own lights on, which is ick. I don't like my lights being on. It's always too bright. But I will test that out next time I stream this. I don't know how tomorrow will look. I want to stream tomorrow night, but with how my family has been, with all the issues going on, I wouldn't hold my breath. Hopefully everything for sure will be finished and settled by next week, so I can have a schedule out and stick to my schedule. Again, we shall see. But thank you all for joining me for Ace Attorney with Magic, Tyrion Cuthbert, Ace Attorney of the Arcane. I don't remember the full title. It's a long title. I will see you all next time. I hope you have a wonderful day. Drive safe. Don't talk to strangers if you don't have to. And if you do have to, don't follow them into bands. And I will see you all tomorrow.